Hello, I'm Frank Data Di Lorenzo. This is our Quick Launch Live. Welcome. Um, we are here to continue our discussion about data visualizations and data in general. This is our 15 minutes together every Thursday at 8 to discuss all things data. With our continuing discussion on visualizations, we're going to talk about a little bit about what a dashboard brings us versus reports. We'll talk about KPIs as a visual, and we'll touch on a tree map and what that looks like and what that can help you understand by looking at the data. So, to get started, if you're here live, hello, Ben. Say hello in the comments. Put a one if you're here with us now. If you watch on demand, put a two and we can respond later. And yeah, ask any questions you'd like, and let's have some fun. Let us know where you're watching from, or any funny little comments or quips you'd like to add, and we'll go from there. So to kind of recap, last few weeks, two sessions, we talked about a data model a bit back, governance in the model, and security. Um, and then we spoke about a few. Hey, LinkedIn user, don't know who you are, but you are here. Okay. Thank you. Talking about scatter chart, we spoke about geomap, a map, and how that can help. And we spoke about a waterfall chart. Today, we're going to look at, as I said, dashboards, KPIs, tree map, and then a little treat for next week, but I'll save that to the end. So let's see if we have any questions. Hello, Wendy. Thanks for joining. If you do have any questions, I'm watching the chat and the comments. Please put them in there. But let's take a look. Now, I'm down to one monitor, so hopefully sharing will be a little easier for me this time. I think I've got it. Good morning, Jill. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see my screen. And if I start right from the beginning, if we go to a workspace, you'll see I have various workspaces that we've created, and I've got a corporate reports workspace. So if I jump into that, and I want to take a look at a dashboard, notice there's reports. Now let's recap. A report can be many pages, and each one can have different tiles on it displaying packets of information. But if we take a look at a corporate dashboard, what does that afford us? So think of a dashboard as a way of presenting to you information that you want at your fingertips across the operational data in your company. So I've got sales, I've got general ledger, I've got accounts payable, receivables, and so forth, and inventory and procurement. And I do have some KPIs here, which we'll talk about more in a moment. But with a dashboard, there's a couple of fun things I can do here. If I want to jump into something, so here's a report, AP amount, gross by company. If I want to take a look further at that one, I click on it. It will now bring me right to that report where I have much more visibility into some of the data. So if I'm looking at the AP amount growth by company, I can see that by company here, and then I have some choices like are the reports. For a right mouse click, I can drill down, I can drill through, or I can analyze. If I want to analyze the data now, let's talk about that for a moment. So the data model, let's recap that. What makes this go is our QuickLaunch data model that really normalizes and transforms your ERP and other corporate data. Morning, Carolyn. So that we can easily report on it without having to be programmers and IT experts. I just need to know what data I need. So that really helps power the dashboard. So that is the model. And then the other thing is the capabilities within Microsoft. So if I look here and I say, I want to know more about this, I can analyze. This is a cool Microsoft feature. It will go through my AP by gross amount and tell me what it notices that might be unique, what it's comparing, what's standing out, what's an outlier. And by going through this, if there's something that really resonates with me and helps, I can click like, and that helps train the platform on what I'd like to see. So analyzing data can be pretty cool. And then the other thing is I can drill down if I want to take a further look at this one. So now I'm seeing it's all in finance and distribution, 2.4 million. What makes that up? I can right mouse click and drill through to the details. So in this case, I'm now in my accounts payable details. I can see all the details that back up that AP open about number. And depending on our setup, if I had documents scanned in our ERP, like a AP invoice, a material receiver, um, I can go ahead and click that link and open up that document right here. So I always like to say in a really powerful Power BI dashboard, you have your data. Well, it's nice if you can have the documents that back up the data or substantiate it. And then let's not forget that you have the ability to do comments here. Ben and I, Monica, sorry, I called you out on this one. Monica, why don't you ever do your job? Okay, so if I put a comment in here, so let's say I'm going to pick on Monica again. Are you still working here? Post. She will get a notification on her phone, her email, and she can reply. And the nice thing about that is the dialogue is going to be captured and stay in the report. Because oftentimes you look at a report and it generates a question and some commentary back and forth. You can capture that right here. So that is one nice feature. Again, part of Power BI. That's not a quick launch feature, what we do, but what we do delivering a data model that makes smile face cute makes Power BI go and allows these features to really be unpacked and utilized to their fullest is pretty impactful. So let's come back. If I go back to our dashboard, so that's our AP screen. The other one I wanted to show here, and we can edit so we see the visual, was the tree map. What's interesting with a tree map is you can see where the volume of your data lies. So in other words, I'm looking at this. Let's say I'm spending a ton of time on Central Branch, but really the Central Branch is only $49,000 of the bigger picture. Where should I, spend my time? Financial and distribution company is 4.2 million. So probably want to spend my time there. And as you see, it says right click to drill through. Well, if I right click, I can drill through again from here to those AP details. Now, any really good data model best practices is going to be built upon the data transactional detail because that's really what tells the story. So I can come in here and see what actually makes up that number. So that's our 4.2 million right here. Come back. I'm not going to save that change. Head back. And then if we go back to our workspace, another area I just wanted to touch on today, and remember, these are 15 minutes, so we really scratched the surface, but I can tell you this, if there's any subject matter you want to talk about further, anybody in our team would be thrilled to speak with you and engage. This is what we do. We are all things data, so we really enjoy it. So if I come in here and I want to look at, let's say where's my corporate? Right here. And I'm going to look at some KPIs. Now, what's interesting with a KPI, think about this, it's a snapshot in time. It's a summary. And so here I can get a quick snapshot from current ratio down to cash versus current maturities, fixed versus worth, debt versus worth. So you have ratios we have built out of the box and very easy for you to customize your own. And to illustrate a cool feature with that, let me pop this open for you. So what I'm doing here is on my Apple Watch, I take my KPIs wherever I go. Yes, I am that nerdy. So if we look at our Power BI, you can see it. There's the KPIs on that dashboard now available on my Apple Watch. Now, obviously, you can't have a ton of data on a watch, but I can have KPIs and alerts if something goes over under a threshold. It notifies me. I can see the KPI. Then I can go to my phone and open the full report on my computer So that's pretty cool. But if I come in here and I say, okay, 8.7, we're in the green. Green is good, red is bad. We're at budget and we're plus 0.02% over last year. That's what this represents here. If I click to follow that link, one thing I like to point out here is that you can see with the KPI where you are now, but the bigger picture is the trend. So, what is happening over time? In other words, you might have a KPI in the red, but it's maybe a very short lived experience. Based on the trend, you're going to be fine next month. Or conversely, based on the trend, you're going to be in real trouble and you need to take some corrective action. So, you can see that all right here. So this one's KPI actual versus budget. We've got AR average actual versus budget. Is something increasing to a worrying amount? We can take a look at that. We love the alerts too. So let me see if I can share that one. Love the alerts. So do we. So we have the alerts in here. You can subscribe to reports. Some of these things are basically Power BI features, but again, having your data within Power BI that's refreshed every 15, 20 minutes, near real time, certainly accurate. Um, Source of truth from the transactions. You can start using some cool functions over here. So you've got the ability to subscribe to a report. So if I want to subscribe to a report, maybe every Friday at 5 o'clock, I want myself, my partner, and our three PMs to get this report in their inbox so I can schedule that. Pretty cool. LinkedIn user, I bet you love that one as well. I can come in here and share the report. Now, to share the report, it has to be somebody that has a Power BI license within our framework, unless I want to share it as a PDF, then I can do that as well. So KPIs, snapshot in time, drill into the details, come back to our workspace. One last thing I was going to touch on, I see we're getting low on time, is apps. If I look at this through an app, if I go to that same data, but now it's available in an app, what's nice about an app is when you publish an app to somebody, they can't change or edit it. So if you want to restrict what data they can see, what reports they can see, but give them flexibility to slice and dice data, you can use an app. The one I will show here with the time we have left, a financial statement. If I look at an income statement or balance sheet, this one's an income statement, of course. I can see that report. Now, this is using paginated reports, which is kind of Microsoft's evolved version of SSRS reporting. So this is now a part of Power BI. So I'm looking at this year, business unit all. We got the report up, but I can drill to the source in the details. Click on revenue. I can come down to store sales. If I look at this, I can see I've got 718,486 in actual. If I click here, it will take me to, it should hopefully, to the detail. And here we go. So now I can see the detail that builds up to that 718,486. So to recap, we've got the workspace with a corporate dashboard. I can also have that in the app, as you see here. We have KPIs, which are a nice visual way to kind of see a snapshot of how we're performing. And I can carry that with me wherever I go. We have the tree map, which is a really good way to display data based on volume or size. If I looked at that tree map as a pie chart, wouldn't really, or a bar chart, it wouldn't tell me much because one line would be huge and the rest would be really flat. So would not be as helpful. So let's recap. Again, we talked about the tree map, KPIs, corporate dashboards, publishing your data in an app, which is kind of a security measure in and of itself, and also easier to use. People only see what they need to see. And I will tell you that next week, we're going to have an expert guest speaker to talk about best practices. We'll wrap up our data visualization LinkedIn Live sessions, and he's going to speak on what do's and don'ts make sense for building visuals. We're used to writing reports in Crystal and Excel, but it's a little different when you think about visualizing data. How much do you want to put on a screen? What are some of the best practices? Tune in next week and we will learn that. Again, I'm Frank Data Di Lorenzo. We are all about the data preferred strategies. Call anybody here, and we are happy to help. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining us this morning.